England come here on Sunday to play the winners.
Yeah, I think when you consider how the sides have got here, Mexico, I think they are primed to progressive in form, confidence is high, there's passionate crowd behind them, but as you say, Ecuador, they're showing that comeback win against Germany. They've got quality, and most importantly, they've got resilience to spring a surprise here. Overall, though, I'll probably see the game as kind of 60-40 in Mexico's favour.
We have had penalty shootouts already. Remember, that is an option here tonight. Plenty of people expecting this to be a fairly tight contest. We haven't seen the best of Mexico, so there are more gears for them to go into. There are more gears for them to go into. Ecuador had a choice to make. Ecuador winning a free kick. Out there. In midfield by Alvarado. Javier Aguirre is the Mexico head coach. He's had a wonderful record. They actually had a bad end to 2025, but in 2026 so far, they have been unbeaten. They have won 9 of 11 games played in all competitions. Stepping up very slowly here is Paris Saint-Germain defender William Pacho. Inside him, YhoNjoN. Home fans. There are plenty of Ecuadorian home fans. There are plenty of Ecuadorians in the crowd, but bearing in mind there are over 80,000 here, that man's fans are severely outnumbered. Home fans. There are plenty of Ecuadorian home fans. There are plenty of Ecuadorians in the crowd, but bearing in mind there are over 80,000 here, that man's fans are severely outnumbered.
Of course, for Ecuador, what they don't want to do is sit too deep, encourage Mexico on, concede an early goal. That'll get the crowd on their feet behind the Mexican side. So it's very important that they have a really stable start to the game, Ecuador, and don't give anything away.
There has been delays all the way for Ecuador. Not only tonight with the delay to kick off, but it took them 9 hours to get to Mexico City yesterday. Their pre-match press conference and look around the stadium was set back a little, so they had to acclimatise fairly quickly. Montes here to Sanchez, who didn't start the tournament at right back, but has made that place his own now. Mora, so much expected of him every time he's on the ball. Alvarado, really he's going to hit it there on his trusty left. He's still nice. He fires it straight into the defender. Mexico back on the ball. Jimenez. Romo spreading it to Quiñones, who scored the first goal of the World Cup here in this stadium against South Africa. Sanchez. Alvarado. It's spread wide. Mora in that right pocket again. Ball just beyond everyone in the middle. Mexico happy to reset and go again.
You can see the freedom already that Mora's been given. Such a young player, inexperienced at this level, but it's a huge show of faith from Aguirre to actually start him in this game, and he started well.
Mora. The hottest prospect in the country right now. Mora. Quiñones was arriving, but not soon enough. And Ecuador very quickly realising what they're up against here. Out towards Ena Valencia, the country's all-time leading scorer. He gives away the free kick.
Yeah, some sharp attacking football right from the off from Mexico. It's too passive though from Ecuador. They're sitting too deep. They've got to engage.
Vieira. Montes. Sanchez. It's a nice kick out as well. First shot in anger, scooped up over the bar. It might be the first of many given how this game has started.
Yeah, it just shows his confidence. It's not an easy chance. Ball coming at you pretty much. Trying to kind of adjust your body, whip it with your instep. Difficult to keep it down.
Mexico suddenly with 3 in this attack. That's another one that's fired over the top this time by Luis Romo. He hasn't scored too many goals over the years for Mexico. Looking for his 6th there.
Yeah, just gets a little bit excited, but it's a worry for Ecuador. They're all over the place. They're sitting too deep. They're too stretched. There's too much space for the Mexican attacking midfielders in Romo and Mora to exploit. And it's just not clinically finished with those 2 chances they've had in the opening few minutes. They've been wasteful, Mexico.
Romo was a lot closer in when he scored the only goal of the game as Mexico won the group on match day 2 in Guadalajara against Korea Republic after a goalkeeping fumble. Goal 3 against Latri, and it's the home side. Coming in with Romo! Raul Jimenez in his area, but it wasn't quite his moment.
Well, it's brilliant build-up play, again with Eric Lira sitting deep in central midfield. It frees up Mora and Romo to burst forward as Romo does here, and his cross is an absolute beauty. And I'm absolutely amazed that Jimenez has put this wide.
Welcome, dear rockers! कैसे हो आप सभी? तो आज हम आपके लिए लेकर
Here's the defender, he's got to go back across goal, head it down, back across goal, just completely mistimes it. What an opportunity.
Taken by Ecuador's 39-year-old goalkeeper Hernan
I'm
Galindez.
absolutely amazed that Jimenez has put this wide.
Welcome, dear rockers! कैसे हो आप सभी? तो आज हम आपके लिए लेकर
Here's the defender, he's got to go.
Plenty of veterans have shone so far. So far in this game, Mexico have had 70% possession thereabouts. His side well on top.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind opening, 7 minutes or so, and Ecuador are fortunate not to be behind.
Montes was sent off here at the opening day of the World Cup, but back in the side after his suspension. Safety first by Franco, tucks it out of play. Ecuador with so many players ahead of the ball there. Mexico making the error and hands the possession back to the away side, who'll just be looking to take the sting out of this one.
Yeah, for Ecuador playing that 4-4-2, you need those 2 banks of 4 to be really solid, to be close together, everyone communicating. And then, of course, it's up to Valencia and Plata high up the pitch to maybe carry the counter-attack to the Mexico goal. But at the moment, it's just keeping Mexico out. That's the important thing for Ecuador.
Back by Vasquez. To Raul Rangel, who came off at the end of their 3rd group game to give a very special moment to Guillermo Ochoa, as he played in his 4th World Cup. Mora. Strength shown there. Pacho, no shrinking violet at the back, gets applause from his head coach, Bekasese. Piero Hincapié wants this one forward here for Ecuador. Ecuador playing at just a 5th World Cup. All in the last 7 editions of the tournament. They've really made their presence felt in the last 30 years or so. They're just into the knockout stage for the 2nd time. The last in 2006 when they were beaten at the round of 16 stage, which was the first knockout game then, as they lost to an England side that scored through David Beckham. It's an England side they want to be facing here on Sunday. Fighting pressure. Well, Ordóñez. Tucked away by Moises Caicedo. Ordóñez. Inside here with Pedro Vite. He plays in Mexico with Pumas. Vite, a delightful ball down the side here. Hincapié, who puts it across. Chance to deliver for Angulo. Caicedo. The first sustained spell here for Ecuador. And no opening goal as it's touched away by Alvarado. Jimenez, Mora, nice ball to Quiñones, and everyone has seen what this World Cup what this man can do in this kind of position. Not this time. It's all looking so good for him.
Yeah, but the first problem there for Mexico, and all came from Hincapié, the left-back, stepping into midfield, stepping forward. Vite, central midfielder, delivering the forward ball, and Hincapié was in a really dangerous position. But Quiñones, he doesn't really play as a true left winger out wide. He will drift into pockets of space. Gallardo, the left-back, will provide the width, and Quiñones moving infield is causing teams so many problems.
Hincapié. Pacho, Champions League winner again with PSG.
Once again, you look at Vite's position here on the ball, stepping out of central midfield, leaving Caicedo in there on his own. And that means that Hincapié can step forward because the central midfield is virtually playing as a defender when they have the ball.
Miscontrolled. And a chance here. And Lira, who goes down. And a free kick in a very good area here.
There's an aggressive challenge from Angulo. Is it a challenge that he really needs to make? No, just stay on your feet. Tries to win the ball, he's tackling with his wrong leg, so he goes through, Lira before he gets anywhere near the ball.
FIFA President Gianni Infantino, surrounded by legends tonight. Hugo Sanchez, one of those. It's actually a throw-in the end. Touched on out of play, goal kick to Ecuador, who have really thrown themselves around at this World Cup so far.
Yeah, the onrushing Luis Romo. It's a magnificent cross. The centre-half is caught ball-watching, that's why Jimenez is in space. He just completely mistimes it, sees it all the way. I'm amazed that he's missed the target from there.
Referee urging Ecuador to get on with their goal kick here. Rangel off his line to collect. I say they put themselves around. Only Uruguay and Canada have applied more high-intensity pressures in the opposition half in the group stage of this tournament than Ecuador. While only Turkey won possession from high-intensity pressures more times than Ecuador in the group stage. He describes himself as a disciple of Marcelo Bielsa, as Sebastian Becasese. Here's Quiñones. Alvarado goes on his right, the deflection takes him behind for a corner.
But it's his weaker right foot, ideally he wants it on his left foot. It's brilliant link play from Raul Jimenez just to get Quiñones on his way. Again, Quiñones drifting in field, central position, causing problems, but Alvarado, there's a lack of conviction in that right foot of his. It's a poor strike, it's probably going wide anyway. But the defender has to get across and get a touch, but Jimenez to Quiñones was outstanding.
It has been a lively opening 14 minutes. We expected nothing less. These sides have met plenty over the years, but often in friendlies. The World Cup meeting was back in 2002 when Javier Aguirre was in charge of Mexico back then in one of his 3 spells. Alvarado. Now, what's happened here? The corner was taken, but after it was taken, the referee blew. Franco being spoken to. Slavko Vincic, the referee, just wanted to assert his authority on the situation. Take 2. It's low, and they couldn't quite touch it on there. Sanchez. Montes is there for support. Now, ideally, they'd have him where he sent the ball. Free chance to cross or shoot, and it wasn't far away, was it? Gilberto Mora nearly had his name up in lights.
Yeah, it just doesn't wrap his instep enough around the ball, doesn't move it enough from kind of right to left. Again, a sign of his confidence, more than happy to take the shot on. It's a whisker wide. Again, you get that technique right, that whip on the ball, then you move it back on target and you very probably score. His teammates there, Romo, just appealing to him. Maybe they wanted the ball played to them, but in that position, in that amount of space, I'm not surprised at all that he's taken the shot on.
One of the youngest players ever to play at a World Cup. The second youngest to start a knockout match after the great Pelé back in 1958. A record that has stood the test of time. Lira. Asking a lot of Quiñones. Mexico showed you and everyone here in the opening 16 minutes that they really can accelerate through those levels.
Yeah, we've seen all the Mexico games, and this is the highest tempo I've seen them play with at any point in the game, certainly from the start of a game. They're really at it, and on and off the ball, making life difficult for Ecuador. Of course, what you're trying to get is that balance. You want the intensity, but then you need the composure when you're in front of goal.
Ecuador throw, and already the countdown has started here from the referee, who wants them to speed things up. Taken by Franco. Speeding away here. There's Plata. Now space. Capier. Through the legs there, and Yeboah strikes! How close was that?
Well, it's all about Plata, really. Brilliant individual work from him to get Ecuador on the front foot. He does well to actually get past Montez. He could easily have gone to ground appealing for the penalty. It's kind of a bit of a total. I think the keeper, Raul Rangel, makes a brilliant fingertip save there, and I think Ecuador unhappy they've not got the corner.
Corners given can be reversed into goal kick situations, but not in the opposite fashion.
Yeah, there's been a couple of warnings, though, for Mexico. Yes, they've been the dominant side. They've stepped onto Ecuador, causing them problems. But you know, Ecuador, as we saw there with Plata breaking forward, and if they can break those Mexico lines, they can cause them problems.
Rangel inviting that pressure that we spoke about from Ecuador. And again, another ball straight out of play.
Of course, with Ecuador playing 4-4-2, we normally talk about that in possession, but out of possession as well, as you've mentioned there. Playing with a genuine front two, they can start the press, the midfield four, the back four can then squeeze in behind you.
Said earlier, they've only ever lost 2 competitive matches in this stadium. They're unbeaten in all 9 World Cup matches they have played here at Mexico City Stadium over the years. They haven't conceded in any of the last 4. But the co-hosts are certainly there to be shot at. Favourites have fallen at this stage of the tournament already. Bakasese hoping that his side can really write the headlines for plenty to wake up and see tomorrow. Darting run here by Angulo.
They are brave in possession, Ecuador. They switch their back four into a back three. Either Hincapié steps on or Franco steps on from right back. So again, they're just committing bodies up the pitch. They're engaging with Mexico, and that's why they're playing those longer forward balls, turning Mexico around and getting throw-ins in dangerous areas.
Here are Hincapié. A semi-long throw. Jimenez kept the ball in there, but he was fouled, and the Mexico benches one sprinting to the side of the field. They are not happy at all, and a first major flashpoint in this game as players surround the referee as well. And both sets of players here are absolutely furious about what they've just seen.
Yeah, Pacho is trying to let the ball run out of play, and Jimenez, incredible hard work just to keep the ball alive. I think what the Ecuadorian players are saying, the coach is saying, is that, you know, Pacho didn't foul Jimenez. Jimenez kind of went off the pitch because of his momentum in trying to keep the ball alive.
My command of Spanish isn't amazing, but down in front of us now, there are plenty of verbals being exchanged between the two benches. I think it's at times like this you are reminded that each squad has 26 players in it because they all sprinted out as one there.
That's why it's so important the referee just keeps a cool head and just he's assessed what's happened. He knows what decision he's going to make and doesn't get too excited by, you know, the bench is kind of jumping up and appealing for a free kick or a foul in their favour.
Rangel. Vasquez. Gallardo, whose replacement, Mateo Chavez, put in a good performance against Czechia, but was always going to find it hard to keep his place here tonight. Alvarado can play it. Oh, maybe just too late. Quiñones onside for now. Julian Quiñones. A chance for Mexico. Winchi rocket home. Players sprint onto the pitch. The fans are going crazy. Mexico have the lead. But was it onside or not? So close. But right now, Mexico City Stadium is going bananas.
Well, it's incredibly tight offside call. We'll wait and see what happens. But we've talked about the Ecuadorian press. But Mexico played through it quite brilliantly. And when the ball is, I think, is played into Mora, who just managed to get there first and get Quiñones on his way. Is in his own half as the ball is played. It looks like he is. It's incredibly tight. That is how to bypass the press. And then the finish from Quiñones is devastating. The defender, Pacho, doesn't step onto him. Quiñones, he's been in brilliant form in this competition. And that is a devastating finish. Absolutely no chance for the goalkeeper, but will it stand?
The goal has been confirmed. Mexico have the lead. Javier Aguirre with his arms in the air again. He and so many fans the same. The momentum continuing for the co-hosts, who take a step to...
Devastating finish though from Quiñones. You know, he'll take all the glory being the individual who scores, but how the team created that chance for him was brilliant.
Yeah, that summed up Mexico as a side, really. Alvarado pinned as a right-sider, but floating around and has a wonderful left foot, and Quiñones direct running and precise finishing, giving his side the lead.
Yeah, but it was actually Mora that played him in. You're right, it was Alvarado. Just, I think they understood the press was on Alvarado, and he thought, right, if the timing of the run is perfect from Quiñones, I play the right ball, he's in. It was outstanding.
Ecuador went behind against Germany after just 2 minutes, but hit back through this man 7 minutes later. Here's Angulo. Not a great ball, but up but not away. Angulo. Vite. It really is risk-reward for Ecuador. It's not always going to work for them. That's the chance they take. Side that was so dogged throughout qualifying. They only conceded 5 goals in 18 games. Alvarado. Dancing, jinking, jiving, ducking, diving everywhere he goes across the field. He's been a delight to watch in this tournament so far. Quiñones, Lira, lovely touch. Jimenez wants it right. The referee has stopped play here. And Mexico might have the lead, but 80,000 fans and 30-odd people on the bench are furious with the referee here.
Yeah, just seemed to go to his whistle slightly too early. Again, the press was on from Ecuador. Mexico played through it and they're away.
And now the hydration break comes. So Mexico ahead thanks to Julian Quiñones, the first Mexican player to score in 3.
অনলাইনে গেমের নামে অবৈধ জুয়া খেলছেন, তিলে তিলে সব হারাবেন। অবৈধ জুয়া খেলবেন না, হবে জেল, জরিমানা।
সিঙ্গার বেকো নিয়ে এলো সবার জন্য বিশ্বকাপ অফার। পুরো বিশ্বকাপ জুড়ে সিঙ্গার বেকো দিচ্ছে 1000 ফ্রি টিভি, সাথে থাকছে নিশ্চিত উপহার।
সারা দেশে সবাই হতে চায় পেমেন্ট চ্যাম্পিয়ন। প্রতি সপ্তাহে 50 জন সর্বোচ্চবার বিকাশ পেমেন্টে জিতে নিচ্ছেন টিভি, স্মার্টফোন, স্মার্ট ওয়াচ সহ আকর্ষণীয় সব প্রাইজ।
ওয়াইফাই ছাড়া বাড়িতে না, গাড়িতেও ডাউনলোড কিভাবে?
অফকোর্স, আমরা ওয়াইফাই ছাড়াই ধুপধাপ আপলোড করি।
কারণ আমাদের কাছে বেশি জিবি আছে। বেশি জিবি জিতবেন মাই জিপি অ্যাপে।
Hour delay before kick-off. Gave one or two a chance to maybe take on more refreshments than they might have done. I had to little walk around while we had the time to kill before kick-off, and the amount of bags I saw full of beer cans was quite something. They have drunk this stadium dry. And Ecuador now and Sebastian Becasese trying to plot a way back into this game. They might be behind, but they've had their moments in wide areas.
Absolutely, yeah, they have kind of moved Mexico around. They switch from a back four to a back three. They get players forward, maybe stepping out from the back, midfielders stepping into the back line. So it's changing the formation, morphing the way that they play. It's caused Mexico a few problems, but they haven't really created a major opening. Yeboah's maybe that kind of toe-poke goal was the big chance.
Mexico have scored with the only attempt on target for either team so far. Will restart with a Mexico free kick in the centre circle here. Adrian Uribe, actor in the crowd watching on tonight. Players ready to resume. As is referee Slavko Vincic. We haven't had any yellow cards in this game yet, but you get the feeling there might be one or two before we're through.
Yeah, in the group stages, I think both sides played really attacking football, went for goals, went for wins. I thought it might tighten up a little bit in the knockout stages, but the opening quarter of this game has been brilliant.
Raul Jimenez doing his best to stay on his feet there. A rather theatrical run. It's a throw here to Ecuador.
Yeah, I think he got a nudge. I don't think he was actually fouled. It was maybe a slight clip of the heels from Ordóñez as he came across, and it just made it really difficult for Jimenez to stay on his feet.
Jimenez. The last time that Mexico won a knockout game was 1986, when goals from Negrete and Servín secured a 2-0 win against Bulgaria in the round of 16. They eventually went out in the quarters against West Germany as they were beaten on penalties. Before that, you go back to 1970 when they were also hosting. They got to the quarterfinals then, but that was the first game after the group stage, so technically didn't win a knockout tie in that competition.
There's an aggressive challenge here from Enner Valencia. I think it's nothing too malicious in it. I think it's just his momentum takes him into Alvarado. You saw the value there, very clear, of the role that he plays here for Mexico, that defensive insurance in central midfield, because the break was on from Ecuador. He was there just to mop up and get a timely challenge in and win the ball back.
Alvarado, Montes de Vasquez. Vasquez, who plays in Italy for Genoa, but says that he really thought he'd learnt the art of defending while playing here in Mexico, but arrived in Europe and realised he hadn't conquered it at all. Quiñones, Mora, Alberto Mora. He's still there, but the early ball in looking for Jimenez. And then Capier away to safety.
The cross is an absolute beauty. It's actually too good. His teammates weren't ready for it.
And Gulo backing in. Jimenez. Oh, lovely turn. Oh, the Mexico number 9 who inadvertently gets it back. Jimenez. They could go one more. It's Quiñones. Raul Jimenez! Mexico, as a nation, loses its collective heads. Raúl Jiménez is now his country's all-time second top scorer. But a goal that means more than that in this moment. 2-0 Mexico, and Ecuador have a long way to come back from here.
Yeah, Mexico and Jimenez, they just exploit a defensive disaster from Ecuador. They just give the ball back to Jimenez. This is just a dreadful clearance, if that's what it's meant to be. But Jimenez, with experienced strikers, when they miss chances, what do they do when the next one comes along? They bury it. He missed an early header. He knows he should have done better, but he didn't let it affect him. And the way that he just kind of swipes across the ball here, he moves it from right to left, away from the goalkeeper. No chance at all for Galindez. And the one thing Ecuador, at 1-0 down, could not afford to do is quickly go 2-0 down. And it is a mountain to climb now for them.
Jimenez, who made it 2-0 against South Africa to get Mexico 3 points in their first group game, makes it 2-0 here. And in a World Cup featuring 3 co-hosts, no one quite knew what to expect from any of them, but they are really packing a punch between them. It's a goal kick here to Mexico. The way we do commentary in English, we don't quite go the Latin way of giving it the huge goal shout, but that really almost justified it there, the way that one went in.
Absolutely, it's a brilliant finish. But again, I have to go back to the fact that he missed that early chance. He was a younger striker, it maybe affects him. It doesn't affect him, and as he clears his mind, gets ready for the next chance and absolutely buries it. In the space of 9 minutes, you know, Mexico have not exactly taken the game completely away from Ecuador, but it's a long way back, and the way that Mexico are approaching this game look like they can score more.
Well, they've already scored 8 goals in this tournament, their most ever in a World Cup, along with 1998 back in France. Here's Valencia, who's barely had a kick up front so far, but he has won his side a corner.
And the big centre-halves will come up from the back, maybe from a set piece. You know, Ecuador can get back in the game.
I said the beers were flying when that goal went in. They were away to my right, they were away to my left. Thankfully, none in our direction. But that goal really meant something to everyone around us here. A corner here for Latri of Ecuador. A bit of pushing and shoving going on. Sanchez down, and his teammate too, Vincic, trying to take control.
Yeah, you see this happen a lot. Players just start grappling and going to the ground. Again, the referee's just got to, again, just watch it, have a word with the players and say, look, if it carries on, we've got a bigger problem. But it's just a bit of silliness, really.
The corner will be taken. Now the referee is ready. By Caicedo. Rangel gets a hand to it. Angulo. Big swing from him, but played rather blind in the end, hoping that there would be someone there to make something of it.
Yeah, if you look at the 2 goals, you've got to give Mexico credit the way they played through the Ecuadorian press for the first goal. But, you know, Pacho, if that's a pass or an attempted clearance, you cannot afford to just give the ball back to a talented striker at this level. You're going to get punished, and he and the team were.
Well, at the moment, Ecuador heading towards just the 2nd defeat in their last 23 games in all competitions. Beaten by Côte d'Ivoire. 1 match they won. They don't get turned over easily, but trailed by 2 here. A belated whistle for a free kick in the middle of the park. A foul by... or foul on, rather, Alvarado.
Yeah, Alvarado and Quiñones, in essence, the 2 wide players from Mexico, even though they drift into narrower positions, they're really hard to defend against. You're not sure whether a fullback should stay with them or a midfielder should pick him up. They just change their position subtly by moving in field, and it causes so many problems. Those 2 are really difficult for any opposition fullbacks to cope with.
Quiñones. Lira. Mora. Pacho.
And once again, they see that attacking interchange. Quiñones drifting in field, Mora taking up Quiñones' position down that left-hand side. So when you've got talented attackers chopping and changing their positions, the opposition midfielders, defenders, if you don't communicate or you watch the ball, that attacking movement is going to cause you so many problems.
Yeah, and Quiñones now involved in 4 of the 8 goals that Mexico have scored at this World Cup, whether he's been on the score sheet himself or assisted. He's chipping in. Mora was running through the middle, but ball didn't go towards him, and instead it's a run out here for Plata. Jimenez with an elaborate piece of chest control. Hincapié. Only 10 minutes in this game now before half-time. Ecuador cannot afford to let 2 become 3. Can they just give themselves something to work with here? Angulo. Still Angulo being chased all the way by Sanchez. Caicedo caught late by Quiñones, free kick.
Yeah, Quiñones is never going to get to the ball. It's not the worst challenge. There's not an awful lot of contact. But you've got to be careful. Again, you don't want to pick up a yellow card for a challenge in an area like that. It's not as if you're on the edge of your box and you've got to make a challenge. Just stay on your feet. You're forcing Caicedo back anyway.
Set piece taken, Moises Caicedo over this one. Way too far out for an Ecuador goal. And way too long there from the Chelsea midfielder.
And no wonder he's apologising. That was a dreadful free kick.
Rather niche stat, but that man at the age of 35 years and 56 days has become the oldest player to score for a side in the CONCACAF region in a World Cup knockout round match.
I think it's actually YhoNjoN who just gifts him the ball back. Again, getting the ball back is one thing. Sticking it in the back of the net is quite another. It's just, I think the technique there, the way that he kind of swipes across the ball, it moves it into that top corner. No chance for Galindez.
Romo. Jimenez looking for Mora. I think what makes Raúl Jimenez such a special striker is that he's got a bit of everything. Pace has never been his game, but control, touch and such a range of finishing to his game.
Yeah, if you're not blindingly quick, it's all about getting into attacking space, getting away from defenders, then being clinical. But for an attacking midfielder, he is a joy because he's always looking to play you in.
It's a mazy run here by Yeboah, who goes for goal again, and Rangel makes a flying save. The first real time the goalkeeper's been tested tonight, and he came up trumps.
Yeah, it's a little bit too easy for Yeboah just to get that ball out of his feet and get the strike in. I think it's at a savable height. It comes through defenders, so maybe slightly difficult for Rangel, but he's a goalkeeper in top form, and I think it's a save that you'd expect him to make.
And Ecuador give themselves a lifeline. People often say 2-0 is a dangerous scoreline. Caicedo hooks it. Vasquez heads it.
And that's 2 corners now where Ecuador have just piled everybody in on top of Rangel, with all those Mexican defenders as well, but absolutely nothing has come from that tactic.
Caicedo. Angulo. Oh, good feint there, Angulo. It had to be cut out. And right now, despite leading by 2, Mexico can't get out of their own defensive third.
Well, we're seeing brilliance from Alvarado going forward. How about this for defensive application as well? This is a horrible ball to deal with, but he's got back into his own 6-yard box and cut out the cross. So working hard on off the ball, Alvarado, that really sums Mexico up.
Set pieces keep on coming. Caicedo, Rangel again with the hand. Relieving that pressure.
Yeah, it's not easy for a goalkeeper, and there's so many bodies, attacking bodies, defensive bodies in front of you, but you've got to be strong, you've got to have that conviction to go and get your gloves on the ball.
Caicedo. Capier. Went early. It's another corner. It's number 4 now for Ecuador. Before the tournament, were ranked number 24 in the world. Mexico, sorry, 23rd rather. They've dropped to 24th after the group stage. Mexico have risen from 14th to 9th already. Really enhancing their reputation. Such a crowded box. Eyes on from all the officials. Goal kick.
Oh, it's that 4 corners now, and there's no diversity there. They're just piling everybody in on top of the goalkeeper and hoping that they can get something from it. Here's the strike from Yeboah. Does well to open the angle up for himself. But the keeper again is positioning. There's concentration. He's ready to make a save. And with it being their left-footed strike, it's moving slightly back towards him. It's at a savable height. But I just think, again, you can see that he's on his toes. He's ready to make a save, and that is all important.
Jimenez with the flick, but they don't always come off.
Yeah, just looking at how the flow of the game has gone. You see that Ecuador have had kind of patches in the game where they've actually done okay, but you look at those peaks there, the higher the peak is the bigger goal threat a team is carrying, and I think you have to say when Mexico have the ball and go forward, their threat is much higher than Ecuador's.
Up for his side. Here it is, Gilberto Mora. In towards Jimenez. He throws himself at absolutely everything. Don't forget that, what was it, 6 years ago, this man fractured his skull. His footballing career was on the line. And he is full of guts.
Yeah, they worked the opening beautifully. Getting more into that wide position. He just really clips the ball in, just lofts it in. It's not an easy header for Jimenez. He's under pressure from Ordóñez as well, so really trying to get above that. Get it down and on target, not easy.
Seconds remain of the first 45. Incredibly, after the storms earlier, there is no rain at all right now. Andy Hinchcliffe alongside me barely leaves the hotel without his poncho these days.
I've got a variety of ponchos, you have to in this city.
Mora, Jimenez, Alvarado arriving as the third man. Sanchez has really made a great effort to be there as well. The pick out on the volley, Jimenez! Mora may be in an offside position. Jimenez tonight is like a man possessed.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier about, again, Alvarado, Quiñones drifting into central positions. Alvarado does exactly that. That encourages the fullback to get forward. And it's a brilliant pick out from Sanchez. It's just a poor connection from Jimenez. And I think you're right about Mora. If he touches that home, he's offside.
It was very close.
We just feel when Mexico put kind of 3 or 4 quality slick passes together, time and again they're opening up this Ecuador defence.
Just seen a shot on the big screen in the stadium of the fan zone in the centre of Mexico City, which is going absolutely crazy. And on Reforma, which is the main street that runs through this huge sprawling city, there have been tens of thousands of people after every Mexico win so far. 5 minutes of additional time at the end of this first half.
Yeah, I think the scoreline clearly is going to make any Mexican fan happy, but it's the manner of the performance as well, the intensity on and off the ball. It's been outstanding. He must be so pleased.
Sanchez, stopped by 2 in Capier, the dominant one there. Caicedo. Franco to Yeboah. Caicedo. One of several players in this side and squad that came through the excellent Academia Independiente del Valle. Such a modest club that really have built a fantastic reputation for developing talent in the last decade or so. Yellow card, there's the first. We were wondering when it might come. And Alan Franco is the man who is shown the caution.
Yeah, it's frustrating for Franco, right back against Quinones. He's dragged all the way infield. He's desperately trying to get the ball back. Just overdoes it. But again, there you see Quinones and Alvarado linking up. The two, in essence, wide players for Mexico. Both really narrow central areas. They're dragging fullbacks into positions they don't want to be.
Here's Jimenez, who thought he was shoved there. Montes coming in hard. Valencia has had such a stellar career with Ecuador. Cap 109 tonight, sitting on 49 goals as well, the Pachuca centre forward. It hasn't been his World Cup so far.
There's a poor touch there from Valencia. If he keeps that close, there's a chance of maybe getting it out of his feet and really giving Vasquez a problem.
Free kick for the trip. Nothing more than that, though. Quinones, the guilty party.
Here's Gallardo, who goes diving in to try and win it again. With the half just closing out, fullback there, just stay on your feet, just stay goal side of your man. You don't have to win that ball. By trying to win it, you're giving away a cheap free kick and an opportunity for Ecuador to put some pressure on.
Well, they've had so many opportunities to get good quality into the penalty area so far. This man has often failed. But Moises Caicedo, once again, not up to his best levels.
Yeah, he just massively overhits it. I can see what he's trying to do, put it in that corridor between defensive line and goalkeeper, but again, you've got to feel that ball in. He's putting too much on it.
Well, Caicedo, one of those that went straight from Ecuador to Europe, and England as it was for him in the end, as he joined Brighton and Hove Albion before his move to Chelsea. And Bekasese has been speaking really about what his side have been able to do in recent years by players not going to the likes of Argentina and Mexico before getting a big money move maybe to Europe and some of the world's leading leagues. They're getting moved straight there now. Clubs in Liga, Serie A, La Liga, the Premier League, the Bundesliga are heavily investing in scouting in Ecuador. And producing so much talent, and talent with great personalities and players that can really compete at the top level as well.
Well, Ecuador showed against Germany they have that resilience. They went a goal down, managed to come back and win the game, get through to these knockout stages, but it's going to be a second half recovery. You're going to have to show a huge amount of personality and resilience and quality to turn this game around.
Capier. Angulo. That's a lot of himself there. Long challenge coming in from Jorge Sanchez. Ecuador, the last knockings of this first half, have another corner. This will be their final chance before the break. It's been a first 45 that has really flown by here at Mexico City Stadium. You can't count Ecuador out yet. Vite is a short option here. He's used. Gulo all the way back out. And that's a real waste for Ecuador as the half-time whistle goes. Something different they tried, but they ultimately ran out of time. Well, Jimenez scored the second for Mexico after Julian Quinones put them ahead. The same two scorers as match day one here against South Africa, and they're heading towards the same result. The round of 16 beckons for Mexico, but a big second half to come at the break here at Mexico City Stadium. It's Mexico 2, Ecuador 0.
हमारी